What up, YouTube? Let me paint you a picture. Imagine grinding for 15 years straight, no handouts, no luck, just grit, blood, sweat, and tears, and a couple of long nights. You build it all. 6 companies, real estate, stacks in the bank, a life most men only dream of. And standing beside you, the woman you thought would ride forever. But then she takes the knife and slices the entire thing that you've built in half. And that's not a metaphor. That's what happened to Darren. One day, he was the king in his own castle. The next day, she walked out the courtroom with the crown, the land, and the keys. And not because he messed up, not because he failed, but because the system let her. And the craziest part, that wasn't even the worst of it. Stay locked in on this one, because what Darren did next might be the most powerful comeback story you'll hear all year. Now, Darren didn't grow up rich. He grew up hungry. Concrete floors, cold winters, mama working doubles just to keep the lights on, 3 boys in one room, rotating who got the real mattress. Dinner some nights, a sandwich split 3 ways with tap water. He got his first job at 14 years old, cutting grass with a borrowed mower and no gas money. Second job, cleaning out homes for cash under the table. By 18, he was pouring concrete for contractors twice his age. Quiet, focused, diligent, and never complained. By 30 years old, he had his own construction firm. Small crew, old truck, but huge ambition. 5 years later, by the age of 35, he was the man. 5 properties, 3 companies, pulling in 6 figures a month. People called him a self-made success, but Darren knew better. He was a builder from nothing, and everything that he had, he earned. And his wife, she was there in the beginning, clapping the loudest when the checks were small, or so it seemed, because once the zeros started to stack, the energy shifted. Little comments here and there, backhanded praise, more wine, less conversation, more distance, less love. And Darren, he was too busy building to notice the cracks forming in the foundation. And eventually the house got quiet, too quiet. Dinner turned into 2 people chewing in silence. She stopped touching him. He stopped asking why. Arguments came like weather, loud, then cold. Then one day she dropped it on him. Flat voice, no tears whatsoever. "I want out," she said. Now, saying "I just want out" can have a bunch of different definitions, but in this case, she just ain't leave. She came for the crown. The house, hers. The cars, hers. The bank accounts, she emptied them like she earned them. In the court, they didn't care who built what. They just split it down the middle, right down the spine of everything that he built. In just 6 months, Darren lost his $1.2 million crib in the hills, 3 businesses he spent a decade building, 70% of his liquid gone, the blink of an eye. And worst of all, he lost his damn peace. And she didn't even cry walking out. She smiled like she won the lotto or something. And Darren, he stood there in that empty house, no wife, no furniture, just echoes and court papers. And eventually, even the house got sold. Now, Darren went from this 6-bedroom house to a studio that smelled like old carpet and fried takeout. No echo, no family, just 4 walls and the hum of a fridge. The brother stopped shaving, stopped answering calls, whiskey bottles piled up like invoices. Sleep, it came in spurts, but the nightmares, they came steady. The man who once cut $1 million checks, now questioning if he had it in him to even make 100. He ain't just lose money, he lost his ambition. He lost the fire. He lost his rhythm. He lost the man in the mirror. Days blurred, weeks vanished, until one night, 2:17 a.m., scrolling like a zombie, he saw it. A black background, white text, no fluff, No motivational quote. Just one line. Lost it all? Good. Now build it again, but smarter. That line hit harder than any punch that he could have received. Like the screen itself was talking to him. And for the first time in years, he didn't feel sorry for himself. He felt ready. Now on that post, he followed the link trail and eventually he clicked join. At first, he didn't post, didn't speak, he just watched. It was the MT Army, a school community. No fluff, no fake gurus, just real men, builders, fighters, men who lost it all, then built it back again. But this time, they built it better. Darren saw stories that looked like his. Divorced, broke, humiliated, but not broken. Every post, a reminder, you ain't done. You just starting over. You lost it? Good. Now rebuild, smarter. It hit different. It didn't coddle. It challenged. That's when the fire came back. Not rage, not revenge, but discipline, focus, and hunger. He picked one idea, a custom home contracting business. No loans, no investors, no business partners, just grit. He pulled up his old client list, dusted off his boots, printed flyers, shot photos, built a basic site. He walked neighborhoods, dropped off quotes, did the first 5 jobs himself. Late nights, sore hands, eating ramen and checking invoices at 2 a.m. 6 months in, $12,000 a month steady. 12 months in, $180,000 accumulated. By year 3, $800,000. Clean, solid, profitable. No Instagram hype, no rented Benzes, just a man and his word, and a tribe that reminded him that you still got it. You just needed a reason to rise again. Now fast forward a little bit, he met a young lady by the name of Mariah at a coffee shop. Nothing fancy, just 2 people tired of games. He wasn't trying to impress. No designer logos, no smooth lines, just him, hoodie, coffee, and a second shot at life. She wasn't looking for flash either, all right? She noticed the calm in him, the weight behind his words. They talked like they known each other in another life. No rush, no pressure, just a conversation that made sense. And over time between the 2 of them, things got serious. She saw where he'd been. He saw how solid that she was. She didn't flinch at his past. She asked about his future. Eventually, the topic of marriage came up, and Darren didn't hesitate. He told her straight up. He had to protect what he was rebuilding. But Mariah, she ain't get weird about it, because she understood, she got it, and she respected it. No awkward energy, no arguments, just 2 grown-ups making smart decisions. And for the first time in a long time, Darren wasn't worried about losing it all because he finally chose right. And this time, he chose with his eyes wide open. Fellas, listen to me when I tell you this. It ain't just about getting the bag. It's about what you build with it and who you choose to let close to it. See, Darren learned the hard way. Love with no boundaries will absolutely break you. Success with no shield or prenup will vanish. And the wrong woman, she'll drain you like a vampire draining blood from its prey. But she'll do it the slow and legal way. But here's what he also learned in the situation. A man who knows himself cannot be broken twice. You don't just rebuild wealth, you rebuild standards. You guard your time, you guard your peace, you guard your work. The money matters, but the mindset, now that's the real asset. And when you surround yourself with real men, like the ones in the MT Army, you don't just recover, you evolve. So here's the truth. The world will test you. Life will strip you. But as long as you still got hands to work and sense to think, you're never really finished. So keep building. But this time, Build with wisdom. See, Darren didn't just come back, he came back forged, smarter, quieter, harder to shake. Because loss ain't the end, it's the mirror. It shows you exactly who you really are. And Darren, he met the man that he was supposed to be, not through comfort, but through fire. So if you're watching this thinking, damn, that's me right there, well then good. It means the rebuild has already started. Drop a comment for me down below. What's one L that taught you everything? Can't wait for the comments on this one. Make sure you guys like the video and be sure to share it. Tag a brother who needs to hear this. And remember, the second time that you build, it ain't just luck, it's legacy.